Hi, I'm Andrea Robinson, and I have been fortunate to live and work in the Napa Valley for more than 20 years. I'm here in Yountville, right in the heart of the Napa Valley, a town that's celebrating its 60th anniversary. Yountville's always been one of my favorite places, whether to eat, taste wine, or just take a walk and take in the art. And it has come a long way from its origins.
For more than 10,000 years, the Wapo, indigenous people, lived on this land. They were hunters and gatherers, and they thought this was paradise.
The Mexican War of Independence from Spain in 1821 marked the beginning of Mexican rule for this part of California.
In 1833, Mexican General Vallejo was authorized to establish a military post at Sonoma, specifically at the 10-year-old Mission San Francisco de Solano site. Vallejo was also tasked with developing the surrounding lands near Sonoma, including present-day Yountville.
This is the grave of George Yount, Yountville's namesake. Born in North Carolina in 1794, he later moved west and became a Mexican citizen and friend of Mexican Governor Vallejo, who in 1836 awarded George Yount with nearly 12,000 acres of land, stretching from what is now Yountville to just south of St. Helena.
In 1855, George Yount laid out a 6-block marked area with a public square that he named the community of Yountville. To the south of Yountville was the village of Sebastopol. In 1867, after George Yount's death, Sebastopol renamed itself Yountville in George Yount's honor.
In 1884, the Veterans Home of California was established here, providing residential accommodations for around 1,000 veterans, plus recreational, social, and other activities for independent living.
All Yountville actually went to the Veterans Home. The kids would play ball on the ball field. They'd shag balls when they had baseball games. They did all kinds of things like that. Everybody went to the show up there. I think it was 25 cents or something. Yeah, it was wonderful.
In 1906, a law was enacted that prohibited the sale of alcohol within 1.5 miles surrounding the Yountville Veterans Home.
Around 1966, when we bought the Vintage, there was a lot of taxis. I think there was 18 taxis, and they were illegally selling booze to the guys. Maybe there was 2 or 3 bars in town, but there was 18 taxis.
Well, a lot has changed in the last 60 years since township incorporation here. Today, Yountville is a visitor mecca, offering so much in the wine, culinary, and art world. Perhaps the most iconic location is the French Laundry. This Michelin 3-star restaurant did a lot to put Yountville on the map, but the fine dining culinary scene actually started a bit before Chef Thomas Keller arrived here.
I got here in 1977 from Épernay, Champagne. I was the chef at Domaine Chandon.
When I first came to Yountville, I worked at Domaine Chandon, which was the first real fine dining establishment in the valley.
When we first opened Domaine Chandon, we used to have a buffet. There was lots of cold foods, some hot foods. At the time, we had priced it for everything, including coffee. It was $6.75 per person.
In 1907, the French Laundry was an actual laundry. In 1974, Don and Sally Schmidt purchased the building and began renovations. And in 1978, the French Laundry began service as a restaurant.
It was in the mid-'80s when I first went to Sally Schmidt's French Laundry. Sally was all about California cuisine. She was all about the freshness. She changed the menu daily. She sourced locally. She was right up there with Alice Waters.
In 1994, Thomas Keller and other investors purchased the French Laundry. On July 6 of the same year, he opened the doors to his restaurant, and a little over 2 months later received a 4-star review from the San Francisco Chronicle. Then the honors just kept coming.
47 years here, been a huge part of the success and evolution of this community, exemplifying just a sense of hospitality and the sense of partnership that this restaurant has with the rest of the community.
We opened in 1998, Bistro Gentil, and it's been 26 years. As you can probably hear, we're still doing pretty well.
Yeah, we're sitting at the bar at Hurley's one evening with Cindy Saucerman, who was with the Chamber of Commerce at that time, and we were lamenting the fact that the vets really couldn't come into town and enjoy how successful this town was becoming, what a food destination. So we brought it up to them. I gathered the chefs in town, so we had about 5 of the local Yountville chefs, and we went up and we prepared a meal for the vets. They really appreciated it. We decided to do it every year, and it's been 20 years now.
And what good is great food without great wine? No worries, plenty of that right here in and around Yountville.
Domaine Chandon, nestled in Yountville, was founded back in 1973 and making it the first French-owned winery in the United States. Robert Jean de Vogüé tried to find an unexpected lens and set its sights on Yountville to find the perfect location to craft exceptional sparkling wine in Napa Valley.
Jean-Charles Boisset, whose family is a dominant force in French wine, has had a passion for the Napa Valley since his very first visit here in his youth. Here in the U.S., he has a variety of wineries: Raymond, Buena Vista, Elizabeth Spencer, and the JCB collection, to name just a few.
Yountville is the capital, the Vatican of great food. This is where all the sensory are at play. This is the alchemy of the senses in ebullition. This is why I had to put JCB Winery in the epicenter of Yountville, right in the town.
The first tasting room right in the town of Yountville was Jessup Cellars, gaining a reputation as one of the friendliest tasting rooms in the Napa Valley.
20 years ago, when we opened the tasting room, it was our desire to create memorable experiences and connect with people throughout all the senses, if you will. Art has always been an extremely important part of this tasting room, whether it's the art of the blend in our winemaking or the art that you hear and that you visualize.
And speaking of art, Yountville has an incredible commitment to public art.
The Art Walk came out of a passion for the arts and sharing it with the community. In 2009, we came up with the idea of placing sculptures and art pieces throughout town for the public to enjoy.
The biggest challenge the town faced to support its growing arts effort was finding a sustainable funding source.
But we found a way. We found that incredibly talented sculptors would put their pieces on display in Yountville as long as we were promoting them for sale at the same time.
I love all the art you can see here, but as a master sommelier, this just might be my favorite piece on the Art Walk. Biking is a great way to spend some time when you're not enjoying the food, wine, or art.
We've been hot air ballooning here in Yountville for 55 years. Yountville is an ideal location here in the valley. When we take off, you can really get a good perspective of the north and south. Passengers and guests alike, they really enjoy the experience. What's made hot air ballooning one of the top activities here in Yountville.
Whether you're a local or a visitor, there's plenty to do here. Before the Napa Valley Lodge was built here in the mid-60s, the lodging situation could best be described as boarding houses where you tied your horse up front.
The Alden family vision at the time was simply good and genuine hospitality. Yountville hospitality to me is just simply the best. It's second to none. It's genuine, it's humble, it's just true.
Hospitality is the driving economic force of Yountville. Providing our visitors with a unique, memorable experience is behind every decision.
This wonderful town of Yountville has come a long way in 60 years, from a loose connection of watering holes to a worldwide destination that so many enjoy. We're so proud of our town, and we're looking forward to the enhancements that we'll make in the future for both our residents and our visitors.
Well, there you have it. That's Yountville. Happy 60th, and here's to many, many more. Cheers.